we're delighted your young person is considering applying to Cambridge.
As a parent, guardian or supporter of an applicant, it can be difficult to know what you can do to help. We're going to talk you through what you can expect as they apply to the university.
We'll be covering topics from UCAS applications and admissions tests to interviews, how to prepare for outcomes, and ultimately how you can best support them during this time.
At the beginning of the Cambridge applications process, I was really excited because of the prestige of Cambridge, but also kind of nervous because everyone knows how hard it is to get in.
I felt a bit confused. I didn't take A-levels, and so I didn't really know where to start.
I was quite nervous. There are quite tight deadlines in terms of trying to manage all of the different components, and so just trying to meet those deadlines was definitely nerve-wracking.
First, get to know the steps involved in applying to university. For all UK universities, including Cambridge, students will submit their application via UCAS. The UCAS application collects a range of information and gives students the chance to write a personal statement explaining why they'd like to study the course.
After the application deadline, which for Cambridge is usually in October, we shortlist students for interview. Students are invited to interview in December and will find out the outcome of their application at the end of January. These are the basics of the Cambridge admissions process, but there are some additional things to be aware of.
Our UCAS deadline is earlier than most other universities, and this allows us more time to assess all elements of each application. It also means that your young person should start planning their application early. They may be the only one they know preparing to apply to Cambridge, so they might need extra reassurance and support in the early stages.
Many applicants would also need to sit an admissions test. These will be taken before we shortlist for interview, and students will need to register in advance and sit it at a registered test centre. For other courses, there might be a short assessment to take just before their interview.
It's important to check whether their course requires a test as early as possible, and note the deadlines for arranging this, which can be earlier if they have additional needs or get additional time in exams. Cambridge has 29 undergraduate colleges that provide accommodation, facilities and support. Most undergraduate students are guaranteed college accommodation for at least 3 years.
When applicants choose Cambridge, they need to select a college to apply to. You can find more guidance on what a college is and how your young person can choose one on our website.
After submitting their UCAS application, we ask all applicants to complete our supplementary online application form, My Cambridge Application. This allows us to collect information not covered by UCAS. A link to the form will be emailed to them shortly after they've applied.
The part of the application process I think I needed the most support with was just feeling confident in myself and my ability. Talking with my mum was just helpful for reassuring me.
I found my parents just being really encouraging was the most supportive thing they could do for me. Just them being really encouraging and telling me that I can do it and that I would be deserving of a place here was the most helpful thing they could do for me.
For me personally, just because I took APs instead of A-levels, I remember having a really hard time with the conversion of the grades, but my supporter did help me in figuring that out.
If your young person is invited to interview, this could be in person or online, as this varies by college. The college that invites them will provide all the details they need to prepare.
After the interview, they will find out whether we're offering them a place at Cambridge. Due to the number of excellent students who apply, we're not able to offer a place to everyone we'd like to. So be mindful that their application may be unsuccessful and be ready to support them in this eventuality. They may also have some worries even if they have been made an offer, and this is completely normal.
As you can see, there can be a lot involved in applying to Cambridge, but there are many different ways you can support your young person through the process.
Both of my parents helped me explore my subject in slightly different ways. My dad got me some books to read over my Year 12 summer so that I could really explore my subject in depth. And he also drove me to the Faculty of Divinity for some subject masterclasses so that I could experience what lectures would be like here. My mum would always put podcasts on in the car so that I could listen to people talking about my subject, and then she'd ask me questions about what I was most interested in, which lent itself really nicely to her asking me questions on my personal statement so that again I could build that confidence in speaking about my subject and find my niche in terms of what I was most interested in.
My dad, who was my primary carer at the time, really gave me access to the resources I otherwise wouldn't have had access to. He also gave me a lot of support when I was doing mock trial, youth legislature, and other things like that.
Encourage them to talk openly about their application and any worries or concerns they may have. You can also ensure that they're reading important emails and help them to keep track of deadlines.
To help them communicate more confidently in their personal statement or interview, you can help them explore their subject in more depth through supercurricular activities. These are any activities where they engage with their chosen subject outside of their school studies.
Offering to read their personal statement may be something they'd find useful. However, you can't help them write it. The statement must be their own work.
A great way to find out more about the university is to visit one of our open days. You can assist with arrangements for a visit and join your young person on the day if you are able to. Remember to encourage them to ask questions themselves.
If their interview is in person, you could help them with travel arrangements and ensure they know where they're going. If the interview is online, see if you can help with the technical setup ahead of time and make sure they've got a private and quiet space.
My parents helped me prepare for the interview by asking me questions on my personal statement so I was ready and confident to speak about my subject. And they just encouraged me to take a night off revision the night before the interview, get an early night and have a good breakfast in the morning so I was calm and felt as comfortable as possible going into the interview.
When I was preparing for the interview, I did do a lot of practice with my mum, and it was mostly just to make sure that I was presenting my best self and trying to feel really confident in my ability.
I remember being really nervous for my interview, and one thing my dad told me was to just be myself, especially since no one from my school had applied to Cambridge before. He told me that as long as I try, I'll be doing something new and something amazing.
Finances are often a consideration for applicants, so find out about the cost of university and the support available together. We offer a range of financial support for home fees students, including the Cambridge Bursary Scheme, which is automatically paid to all eligible students. And finally, your applicant might also be concerned about living away from home for the first time. Take some time to find out about the support the university and our colleges offer to help students throughout their time at Cambridge.
If I had any advice for the supporter of an applicant, I'd say to give your student as much space as you can. This allows them to find their own passions for their subject, and this is what my parents did for me and allowed me to get a deeper love for medicine, which still motivates me to study it today.
The most helpful thing you can do is make them feel confident in their ability all throughout that process. When I was applying, I didn't know anyone in my school who was doing it. I didn't know any of the young carers who'd done it, but having my mum by my side helping me through was just making me feel really confident.
Entertain their interests. I know during my own high school experience, my interests switched from music to law to now doing archaeology, and I would never have been able to do that without the help of my supporters.
Tell the applicant they can do it. Tell them they're deserving of a place here. I cannot emphasise enough how important it was and how helpful it was for my parents just to be there throughout the whole application process.
We hope you now have a better idea of what to expect during your young person's journey to Cambridge and some ideas for how to support them along the way.
Sign up to our monthly Parents and Supporters newsletter to be kept up to date with key admissions information, and visit our website or get in touch to find out more.